Hey guys, been a couple of days. Been waiting on parts and material, and weather's been sketchy. It's in the 20s outside right now, but I have gotten a few things done, and I was just gonna bring you all up to speed what I'm gonna be doing in the next couple of days. Go over it real quick, just lightly. I wanted to tell you guys I did put a little fan on the shunt like y'all had suggested. A little DC to DC converter. It actually works out well. That's a good call. It cools this now at the peak load. This bar is actually cooler than this one now. So now I'm going to put a fan on the other one. So I don't know, but I did get it come in today. I ain't got it hooked up yet, just a little temperature controller. If we're gonna do it, we might as well do it right. So I'm gonna mount that up there, put the probe on the sink, and have it cycle the fan on and off, because you know we are burning 0.19 amps and we don't want to waste any of that power that we could be mining. So anyways, if you're gonna do it right. Now this is the main project. It come in my fine high quality VVOR. And it didn't say VVOR when I ordered it, but it come in VVOR. Okay, but it's a 20 quart hydraulic power unit we're going to use to rotate those panels. I've got a plan. I think I'm just going to use one big pump, and I'll just pipe to all of them and just let one pump do them, because it should be able to without any trouble. The cylinders came in the other day. That's one of the little short hoses. I got a big roll of hose, and I spent yesterday measuring out all my hoses, and then went out to my buddy at the sawmill and I crimped on all the ends. So I've got about 300 feet of hose, all varying lengths, in the bed of the truck with the hydraulic cylinders. And we've got all the right ends. The only thing we're waiting on is T's. They haven't showed up yet. And the pump actually came with 3/8 JIC 6 flares too. So everything should go together real well. And the way I'm doing it, and if y'all got suggestions, let me know. I'm just going to draw one line for like the pressure side, because the return line will be the same for the other side. I'm going to put 4 cylinders on there, evenly spaced, and then I've got a hydraulic line that comes from here up to this one, and I got a T right there, and that'll go to the cylinder. Then that goes out, and there's another T right here, which there's actually a pole right there, and that's where I'm gonna put the pump. And so there's no cylinders or nothing in the way. I'll probably weld a bracket so we can mount that to the post, keep it up off the ground and everything. Then the same thing, we're coming out, and there's another T right here to go to that cylinder, and then this goes down here and goes to that cylinder. We're gonna come out of this. On our way down to the pump, I'm going to put a T in there, and I think that's it for now. Probably going to put another T and just cap it, and then to the pump. And this one of them is going to go to a shut-off valve, so that we can tie in for the system for the next run of them. That's what it was. And this one is going to a safety shut off. I'm going to put a pressure safety on each side, so that if the limit switches fail, it won't just sit there and just hammer out. They're electronic. I'll just break the solenoid valve the control valves wiring going to it, and should shut the whole system down. And maybe hook it up to a relay that flash a light out in the field so I could know that there's a problem. And then when we go to charge it up, we'll go through that in detail. I'm gonna have all the cylinders down. We'll start on the push stroke first, and I'm gonna tie both the shutoffs, and I'm gonna take my vacuum pump and I'm gonna pull everything down to 30 inches of mercury, and then put the fluid to it, and it should pull it all the way through without any air pockets, without any air bubbles, without anything. But I'm thinking that this whole line will have the same pressure on it regardless, so the cylinders should all move together, and I think this will stop our breaking everything problem. And once I can verify everything works, then I'll trench and put a conduit over to the next one and just continue the process. The line was actually pretty inexpensive. I think it was 230 bucks for enough to do the whole thing, so not terrible. And I think that thing was a couple of $100, but I really don't want to buy one and build one at each location just because of all the extra stuff you have to do with this to get it to go. Alright, and I've got kind of my layout here. We've got almost everything we need. We're going to have to use limit switches with this, but the solar controller, it has a input for common and east and west. So I dug these two guys up today. I'm going to use these. I just like these kind of switches because they're good and dependable, and they'll click millions of times without any problems. And you can always adjust where if you need to without having to take everything apart. I'm probably just going to weld 2 tabs on the end of it, on the end of the pipe. One to come around for the east side and one to come around for the west side. Make a little plate, mount those 2 switches on it and weld that to it, and then they'll just come around and tap them. And the controller's right there, so we'll just need a short piece of wire going right into the controller. The only trick that I wasn't super excited about was cycling the pump and the solenoid valves. But I guess what I decided on for now is I'm just going to use a couple of 12-volt relays on a DIN rail. I'll go ahead and put them in this little box. And I guess I'll just throw some diodes on there to let it pick, because the solar controller just has 2 wire output, and it just forward and reverses the wires to go change direction. So, but if memory serves us, or if you guys know of a inexpensive little thing that you could buy that will do it, but that's from the solar controller. We're just going to go up here and put some diodes like such. And, oh, sorry. Should be on the same side. And then this will go up here to my 2 relay coils. Okay, this one will go to one of them, and it'll go to one of them. That'll go to there, and that'll go to there. And then as this forward and reverses, it'll pick one of the relays. And then I'm just going to use a double pole on each one of them, simply because they need to turn the pump on separately from the solenoids. You might could rig that up with some more diodes and a single pole relay, but those little relays like that, they come double pole anyway, so it'll just be easier. I did take the switch apart And that's how they're doing it. You can see the two big buses here is to turn the pump on, and then that's your two solenoid valves. And when you press either one of the buttons, it shorts those two together and then puts power to either that one or that one. So that's the plan for that. I did manage to dig this up because that's 12 volt. Unfortunately, I couldn't easily round up a 48 volt one, which would have been nice, or even a 24 volt one. But this guy, 1600 watts. It says it puts out 133.3 amps at 12 volts. This thing's rated at 1600 watts. It actually calls for 133.3 amps. So they're exactly sized for one another, and I've already got a box out there on the post that I can drop this in. I guess I'll just split all those up and put all the yellows together and all the blacks together, and drop them down to the motor, and we'll just use the wire that's running down it right now for the actuators for our signal wire, for our control wire. And like I said, drop the limit switches on the end, and I think that'll take care of that. And it's supposed to be warmer tomorrow, so I might try to get out there and get some of the lines mounted up and start getting some brackets made for all this stuff. I think the T's, since they're steel for hydraulic, I'm probably just going to take a little angle bracket or something and weld them to it and offset them a little bit so I can weld them to the assembly and to give a good sturdy point so they won't wiggle around. Because rubbing is really the only issue with hydraulic lines, especially flexible ones. We don't want them rubbing and wearing in too. And one other little side note, our new router come in today, got us a nice micro tick, something I'm familiar with, and our switches. One day in the next couple of weeks here, we're going to get the network fixed. They'll all run on 48 volt DC, so we're just going to wire them into the batteries. Won't have to worry about power outages that way. And we're going to tie the two Starlinks in together so that both of them provide internet, and one of them will be out here in the mining barn, the other one will be up there near the house. But we'll VLAN them together, and I'll do an episode that'll require a lot of help from my buddy Brad, but I'll try to make a little video on that and show you the final setup when we get it all sorted out and everything working, so that hopefully if one Starlink does go out, the other one will still run, or vice versa. And it should double our bandwidth up and down as well, which should help with everything else. And so that's about it. I'll get with you guys in the next couple of days after I get some of this stuff done and put together. Alright, thanks for watching, and you guys have a good evening.